leave the building right now.
You've got to not say things. Nah.
What? Well, that was strange.
Hey, how long was that black for you? Because it was 3.5 months for us. Is time working the same way for you? It felt like we were trapped in a nightmare for 3.5 months.
But we made it, right? We're out?
1 to 2 seconds. Holy shit.
Woo! All right, good morning, everybody.
I went insane in there.
Intro for YouTube. They'll
They'll never know.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And I'm not cutting that first intro out
No.
for YouTube. I'm not doing it.
No! YouTube's supposed to think that we have a very smooth, perfectly run show.
I can't even get my coffee past my microphone.
What's happening here?
We don't have a perfectly, hey.
What?
Everyone shut up.
Oh.
Do you know, can I tell you what I think one of the most rancid vibes in the universe is?
Absolutely. Love to make fun of a rancid vibe.
LA wine store clerk.
Okay.
LA wine store clerk. I went, this is a bit of a humble brag here, but I have friends. And I went to a Hanukkah party a couple days ago, and I thought, I'll be a nice boy and I'll bring a bottle of wine.
Sure.
I went into the wine store, and I had forgotten what a cloying, disgusting tone.
Yeah.
Overly friendly, weird, hey buddy sort of tone people at a wine store have.
You go to the local one right here?
Yeah. The dude handed me a bottle of wine and said, because I was like, hey, what would be good for a lot of latkes? It's potato heavy. It's Eastern European heavy.
Yeah.
Should probably have bubbles. He hands me a bottle and he goes, this is a rosé, but not like an asshole about it.
Get out of here. Hey, leave the building.
Hey.
I understand you're at work. Leave the building right now.
You've got to not say things.
Clock out.
You've got to
Clock
not
out.
say things. It's like when a server asks how everything is tasting. Get out of my mouth. Get out of my fucking mouth, dude.
How dare you, the person who served me the food, ask how everything's tasting?
How is everything is fine?
Uh-huh.
How everything is tasting is weird to me. How everything is tasting feels like the person wants to climb in there and just like root around and see what's up. Yeah, this wine is a rosé, but it's not like an asshole about it. How's everything tasting?
I don't know if those two things are comparable.
I hate it.
All right.
I hate it. And a dude was like, I swear to God, it was like I was watching a Delaney Rowe sketch on fucking Instagram where he had like a plaid shirt and like a cap on kind of backwards. And when I asked him things about wine, he'd be like, oh yeah, I feel it. I feel what you're going for. Yes, let's check into that.
Oh no.
He's like, yeah, let's see what we got over there. I was like, all right, man, let's.
I'd love it if you didn't feel anything.
Here's what I want. I don't know if you picked up on this vibe from me. I'm someone who doesn't care about wine and doesn't drink very often.
Right.
Here's what I'd like. I say what I need. You put it in bag.
Yeah.
I say what I need.
Yeah.
You put it in bag.
Yeah.
You might say, this one a little pricey, this one a little less pricey.
Yeah.
And then I point to one, you put it in bag.
Right. Put it on the ground.
I don't like when strangers try to talk to me like we've known each other forever and we have like a little secret shorthand with one another.
Yeah, we don't. Oh, we don't. We don't have any shorthand. And this isn't like you're the worker, I'm the customer. It is, don't be a douche about wine. That's what it is. To be very clear, this isn't a separation of you're working. This is a separation of, we don't have to do this.
We don't have to do it.
We simply don't have to do this.
Do it. I'm feeling what you're putting down. It's kind of like
Don't do that. No.
It's kind of like a small thing, like a big thing. Is it just the latkes, or are we feeling like it's gonna be kind of like, are we getting a little wild tonight? Shut the fuck up.
We are not doing anything.
Shut the actual fuck up. That's what I get. Everybody's making fun of me for being bougie and going into a wine store. And they're right.
Yeah.
They're right. This is what I get for not walking into the grocery store and pointing at the one with bubbles and saying, give me that one.
That is your fault.
That is my fault. But I thought.
It is a visibly fancy wine store.
It is.
I know.
It is. But
I get the intention.
But I was like, we have like a kind of a fancy wine store, and I'm seeing some friends I haven't seen in a while.
It makes total sense.
They're on the older age of spectrum of my friends.
Okay.
So it's like,
you gotta step it up a little bit.
It's a bottle of wine party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like I'm coming with the seltzers.
Yeah. You're not bringing White Claws to this.
It's not one of those. And so I was like, I'll do something a little nice.
Sure.
That's my own fault. That is my own fault.
I spent this past week in Idyllwild, California. I was in the mountains. I was in the wilderness.
Yeah, you and the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Me and the creature from the Black Lagoon. We got a little cabin for Christmas. I tend to go away for Christmas. Find
Cabin
a little
for
place
Christmas
to be.
is my favorite Hallmark movie,
starring Lindsay Lohan.
That's right.
Absolutely lovely. Stayed in a Twin Peaks themed cabin.
Yes.
Fantastic, wonderful. But most importantly,
I think that is most important.
No. I met the mayor of Idyllwild.
Folks, if you don't know, meeting the mayor of Idyllwild is a big deal. And there's a reason why meeting the mayor of Idyllwild is a very big deal.
You want to know why meeting the mayor of Idyllwild is such a big deal? Because this is the mayor of Idyllwild. This is Mayor Max.
I believe we're on Mayor Max the Third now.
There's Max and Meadow. These are from Google Images. These are not my personal images of Mayor Max.
Mayor Max literally drives around in a mayoral vehicle that says Mayor Max on it.
Yeah.
And does public appearances.
Yeah.
And shakes the hands of the citizens.
Such a good boy. I had forgotten to tell my partner that the mayor of Idyllwild was a dog. So we're in a little store and checking out, and the woman goes, are you up here for, the holiday? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh yeah, have you met the mayor yet? And I see my partner's face kind of like,
oh, have you met the mayor yet? What? Have you entered the cornfield at midnight?
Right. And I'm like, oh no, we haven't. And she's, I think he's right over there. There's a crowd over there. I think the mayor's out there if you want to go meet him. And I grab his arm as quickly as I can to run outside to see Mayor Max. Now, if you bring your dog to meet Mayor Max, you get a tie for your dog.
Daggers met Mayor Max. He didn't get a tie.
Did he get, what do you call it, deputized?
He did get deputized.
You can get deputized as well, and you could get a little tie. They were also giving out Mayor Max 2025 calendars.
So you might be saying, okay, but who's the real mayor? No.
There is no real mayor of Idyllwild.
Idyllwild is an unincorporated town. They have chosen simply not to be a town. They have chosen not to be not to have a mayor, not to worry about that bullshit.
It's kind of how I experience gender.
Yeah. And so there has been, every time one Mayor Max retires, there is another Mayor Max that takes that mayor's place.
Calling my gender unincorporated. That's good.
Unincorporated gender?
Yeah. Love Mayor Max. There was also deputy mayor and vice mayor. Vice Mayor Meadow, a dream, a perfect baby. The woman taking the photo, because obviously you had to get a photo with Mayor Max, was like, if you pet Meadow, she'll stop barking. So Meadow's perfect. Meadow's actually the love of my life. And I want to figure out how to go live in the mayor's mansion. I don't know. Wherever the mayor lives.
Where are you when you're not working? But here's the thing. The mayor's always working. A lot of times, a lot of people don't know this about Mayor Max. They only see he's shaking hands, he's kissing babies, he's deputizing Pomeranians, whatever.
Sure.
What they don't see are the long nights that Mayor Max sleeps in the office.
Yeah.
Or on someone's lap.
Exactly. People were asking what species the vice mayor was. That's Vice Mayor Meadow.
They're all golden retrievers.
Oh my God. And they're so good. And
you want a mayor with
so
golden
nice.
retriever energy? Idyllwild.
They go, as soon as you're walking up, because I'm like, wow, they're the mayor.
No, because they're busy. They're the mayor.
They're the mayor.
They've got a lot to do.
One of the handlers for the mayor was like, they love attention. Please give them attention. I'm like, I mean, if you insist.
I mean, I
don't know what it is, but touching the top of a golden retriever's head, there's just something that is like healing about petting a golden retriever and their great big freaking noggin.
Mm-hmm.
They got big heads.
That's why they're great for politics.
Ugh.
The moment you meet them, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
You're it.
This is the only politician I can really back and support.
It's true. It's 100% true.
What
I love going up there.
It was my first time.
It was wonderful. I don't know how much, like, you said you stayed in the Twin Peaks.
I did. Yeah. Explored the town a little bit.
There are a couple places that just do weird themed cabins.
Yeah.
I have stayed in a cabin that was 420 themed. And
they give you weed at check-in.
Oh, last time I was there, that was not a thing.
And I didn't realize it. And I just see this little plastic box. And they're like, oh yeah. And with your check-in, I'm like, oh, thank you.
You're like, oh God, I'm going to jail.
What do I do with this?
Saige's like, I'm going to prison.
I'm like, okay, you can have it.
You do it.
I don't need it. It's okay.
Yeah, there was, when I went a few years ago, they did not do that yet.
Wow.
But I did stay in a 420 themed cabin, which was entirely lit by black lights. The bed was in a sunken, like, conversation pit.
Yeah.
And the room itself had, like, a turntable and tons of records, but then also a candy machine and a soda machine,
Hell
like
yeah.
a full-sized one.
Wow.
So I've stayed in there, and my friends stayed in one that was designed by Dita Von Teese.
Yes.
And had like a heart-shaped bed and all
Yeah.
this. And I think the best one is the one where it's haunted mansion themed and you sleep in a doom buggy.
Next time.
But
Next time.
I didn't get to stay in the Twin Peaks cabin because it's a big cabin.
It's a huge cabin. It's a 3-bedroom cabin.
Yeah. So and it was booked out when we went, but we did meet the people who were staying in the cabin.
Yeah.
And they gave me a walking tour, and I freaked out about every little thing in the Twin Peaks cabin.
One of the funny things is they're very on theme at this place. So a lot of the lights in the Twin Peaks cabin flicker, and you can't make them not flicker. You can only turn them off.
Yes.
Which is tough. Like for the first couple hours, that's kind of silly and fun. And then you're in the dark.
Yeah.
Or in flickering lights.
Yeah, and it's very weird. Like, obviously, you don't want to go there when it's too warm because you do not want to turn on the ceiling fan in the bedroom of the Twin Peaks cabin.
No.
Like, that's...
No. You know better.
You know better than that.
But there was a nice fireplace.
Somebody said random log lady stopped by. The log lady's log is there in the cabin.
Yeah.
And there's also one of the bedrooms, I don't know if it's still like this, but one of the bedrooms is done up like the Black Lodge and has an extra huge bed and an extra tiny bed.
Oh, no, they don't have that.
It was very like, it was where the fireman and the arm clearly like slept.
Yeah.
And it was very funny to see.
They have the pink bedroom downstairs.
Yep.
They have a very like classic cabin-y one upstairs.
Yep.
It's cute. It's great. Idyllwild was lovely.
Idyllwild's amazing.
But also, we missed you. We've been offline for a hot minute.
Yeah.
It's been the holidays. There's been things and reasons. And we're coming back just in time to do the last episode, the last stream at all of 2024.
That's it. They're actually shutting down Twitch for 48 hours.
The last ever stream.
After we do this show.
Yeah, there will be no more streams after this by anyone.
So if you have any of those Prime subs that you haven't given out yet,
yeah, you might as well.
Any money that you were going to give to any other streamer, it's really weird. They can't stream anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to give it to us.
Yeah. We do have things that we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk a little bit about the He-Man movie. We are.
We are.
We are. It's coming together weirdly. It's coming together very weirdly. We're going to talk about that new animated Spider-Man trailer that looks pretty fun and interesting.
We're going to talk about some Netflix stuff. We're going to talk about some Nintendo stuff. Well, maybe some stuff that's going to make Nintendo mad.
We're going to talk about people's reviews of the Beast games.
We're going to talk about your secrets. We know them. And we're going to disseminate them to everyone on the internet.
Yeah. We're also going to talk a little bit about, and we keep forgetting to go back to this, Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively situation.
Woo!
We gotta freaking talk about it because I think a lot of people right now are probably, should be, I hope a lot of people right now are thinking, did I reconsider the way that I went about this Amber Heard situation as we look through a bunch of text messages from Johnny Depp's PR team that is also Justin Baldoni's PR team.
Yeah, we'll take a look at all of that.
All of that.
But first, dun 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun. You want to start with the He-Man movie?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Here's the He-Man movie news. Jared Leto is Skeletor, and all of us are like, huh?
Well, okay, we haven't talked about this movie casting at all, so I want to get into some of the other stuff of it too. But the current news is that for some reason, Jared Leto is Skeletor.
Yeah.
Which is devastating, personally.
Isn't one of the Reggies He-Man? Is it a Reggie that's He-Man?
Nicholas Galitzine.
Oh, no. He just looks like one of the Reggies from Riverdale. They all look like one of the Reggies from Riverdale to me.
Interesting. Okay.
So, look. All of this casting. Here's the thing about He-Man. If you're not 50,
yeah,
okay, I guess it's pretty cool.
I'm not excited for He-Man. I'm not
gonna yuck anybody's yum.
I'm kind of interested in this live action He-Man.
I was a child when the first live action He-Man movie happened.
Yeah.
And I was around for the He-Man of it all. And here's what I'll tell you. There's our He-Man. I can already tell you that they fucked up because that guy's clearly not blonde.
Yeah.
That guy's they fucked up.
The only thing I know this guy from is being the prince in the really, really bad Camila Cabello Cinderella movie.
Oh yeah,
he's the prince from that.
Oh yeah.
And he was really bad.
Sure.
He was god awful.
James Corden presents the worst Cinderella. I remember that.
Yeah.
No, so look. If you're excited for He-Man, I think that's great.
Oh, and the jerk guy in Bottoms. That's most important, actually. I love Bottoms.
I think it's very weird to put a lot into He-Man at this point.
Yeah.
I think Netflix has done He-Man a couple times. And everybody went, okay.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Everybody went, okay.
Yeah.
They tested the water, and the water is, I would say, maybe not He-Man temperature.
But the animated series did pretty well.
It did okay.
I think the 2 animated series that they released, people really liked.
People enjoyed the Kevin Smith one, I think. And then the other one, the other one, I guess, happened. I'm not going, like I said, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. I'm just here to go, hey, do we need to put this much money into He-Man?
Well, you mentioned Riverdale.
Yeah.
Veronica herself is playing Tila.
Oh.
I wanted to say Camila Cabello.
No,
Camila Mendes.
Mendes.
Because I was just talking about Camila Cabello.
Listen.
How do we feel about that? I'm into that.
We love Camila Mendes.
Yeah.
We love her. And also, yes, somebody was like, hey, remember that in the cartoons, we have two friends who are residents of Eternia.
Yeah.
Griffin Newman, of course, best Orko, only Orko, friend of the show. And our friend Tiffany Smith was also in the animated He-Man.
Yeah.
So it's cool. And I understand everybody's looking to revive brands. Mattel obviously did extremely well with Barbie, and they're looking to do that again. Here's what I'm going to say to you.
Idris Elba too.
Here's what I'm going to say to you. The moment you say Jared Leto is in a thing, I immediately cannot force myself to care about the thing.
It is hard. It is difficult.
I say this as a man who is wondering why people are into He-Man, but was very excited for Tron. So don't listen to anything I say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was very excited for Tron, and they're like, don't worry, the new hero in the new Tron is going to be Jared Leto. And I went, oh, well, now I don't care about Tron. It's amazing how quickly that happened.
Yeah.
And my big question to everyone, does anybody go see anything at this point for Jared Leto?
No.
Is there anybody that goes, oh, Jared Leto's in that, I got to go check it out?
Not anybody who'd be here.
I wonder if anyone at all. I wonder
I
the
bet there
star
are
power.
moms. I bet there are moms that like Jared Leto.
Maybe. And are they going to go see him in He-Man?
No.
Like, why is he Skeletor? Does Skeletor have particularly tiny hands? You ever seen the man in person?
No, I've not. Have you seen Jared Leto in person?
Yeah. Yeah. Little guy, little hands. Looks like a porcelain doll. He's met Dagger. He likes Dagger. Everybody likes Dagger.
Sure.
He's always like Jared Leto literally is always in gloves because he's weird about his hands.
Hilarious. It's great.
He also, runs a weird cult for his band on an island. He also harasses his co-stars in very unnerving ways.
Yep.
And if you're, this is not anything official or anything that I can say anything about, but if you live in LA, something tells me either you or an attractive femme-presenting person has a terrible story about Jared Leto.
Yeah.
And so I say to myself, what is Jared Leto coasting on?
Yeah.
Where he's showing up in all these things where they literally think Jared Leto's going to sell a movie.
I genuinely don't know. I don't get what it is. I don't know why they keep putting him in things. I don't know who he has blackmail on. I don't get it. But he's in everything. They just keep putting him in everything.
They just keep putting him in things. And I'm like, I was speaking with an actor friend who is in things.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like railing about it. They're not the sort of person that would ever talk badly about another actor in public.
Sure.
But they were railing about it. They're like, who is this guy's team?
Yeah.
Who is this guy's team where he's perfectly fine in everything?
Yep.
He's no longer the young pretty boy.
No.
What is he still doing in things?
I don't know. And now he's landed in a very specific area where he is the go-to guy for the villain / like not the lead just off, Like we don't see Jared Leto leading much since Morbius, right? He gets roles like the Hat Man, where it's like, this is a really important character to this movie, but not the lead guy,
He's a go-to, and this is a style of actor that I'm not particularly into. He's the guy that you go to now when you need an attractive guy to put on a lot of makeup and play an ugly guy in a movie.
All right.
And then they go, ooh, look at what the pretty guy can do. He can pretend to be ugly as though it's a personality trait. I don't like it.
All right.
I don't like it.
The rest of this casting, though, is pretty impressive. I am confused by the casting for He-Man.
Okay.
I'm like, that's He-Man, huh?
All right.
All right.
Tell me about it.
Well, we saw him. We looked at him.
Yeah,
Nicholas
but I mean
Galaxy.
the rest of the casting though.
Idris Elba is playing Man-at-Arms.
Oh, that's dope, actually.
That's kind of cool. I think that's actually kind of neat.
That's dope, actually.
I think that's actually kind of neat. I like Idris Elba and everything. Idris Elba is getting put in everything at this point.
Yes.
It isn't like, oh, wow, Idris Elba's going to be it now. It's like, yeah, Idris Elba's going to be it.
No, he's officially movie star. He is expected to be in things.
He is kind of expected to be in everything.
There was one piece of casting where I saw it and young Anthony went, oh no, I got to see this movie.
Yeah.
It's Alison Brie as
I
Evil
thought that
Lynn.
might be the case.
It's Alison Brie as Evil Lynn.
Yeah.
Look, if you were going to draw a Triforce of young Anthony, it would probably be like the Baroness from G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Evil Lynn from He-Man,
Yeah.
It's like if it was a goth woman, I didn't know what goth was yet.
Yeah.
But if it was a goth woman, little baby Anthony was interested and didn't know why yet.
The Mountain is in it, which makes perfect sense to me. The Mountain from Game of Thrones. I do not know how to pronounce his name. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Well,
that guy.
Hey, Iceland?
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
He's playing Goat Man.
Get over yourself.
I think he's going to make an awesome Goat Man. I think that's hilarious. I think that's awesome. Look at this. Come on. That's right.
Goat Man.
Come on. That's deeply correct.
Hathor. Yes, it's Hathor.
For the mountain, that's perfect.
Yeah, his name is Hathor. They've casted a Triclops, which I think is cool. I loved my Triclops figure when I was a kid.
Okay.
It's Kojo Ada from The Beekeeper.
Yeah.
Which is not a movie that I've seen because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that just came out this year.
Yeah. It's one of those, action-y. Real cool action-y.
Yeah. Didn't that come out somewhat recently?
With what's his name? Shaw.
Jason Statham.
Not Hobbs, but Shaw.
Sure.
From your favorite franchise.
From my favorite franchise.
The Fast and Furious. Yeah, this is cool. The director is Travis Knight.
I don't know who that is.
Travis Knight is...
What else he direct?
Oh, Travis Knight, director from... a director from Laika, the animation studio.
Interesting.
Yeah, directed Kubo and the Two Strings, produced Paranorman.
Okay.
Also directed Bumblebee.
Huh.
The Horse Girl movie about a robot.
The most fun Transformers movie in a minute.
That's right. So, honestly, that makes me feel pretty good about He-Man.
That's a pretty good combo.
It's a pretty good combo.
All right, I'm in.
I'm still not... I don't know if I'm day one He-Man in the theater.
No, I'm probably not day one, but I'm catch it in theaters because I pay for a membership to a theater.
Yeah. That's fair. Writer also from Laika.
Yeah.
Worked on, Paranorman, Kubo and the Two Strings, Missing Link, Coraline. So,
Very good.
that's exciting.
All right. Let's keep going on.
They make it like weird stop motion-y. Like I'm just picturing like Laika, the Laika style of animation.
Yeah.
If they make He-Man look classically Harryhausen, I'm not saying do stop motion.
Yeah.
But make it look like one of those old school, like Clash of the Titans, big Hollywood claymation sort of things.
Yeah.
That's kind of a vibe for He-Man, right?
Hear me out. What if it looked like this?
Like Action League Now?
What if they gave us...
Oh my God, yes.
What if they just gave us Action League Now?
Honestly, I would love it if it was Action League Now.
I'd be very in. How come there hasn't been an Action League Now reboot?
I don't know, but it feels like you could do it very easily.
Right? Bring back Action League Now.
Bring it back.
That's what I want this movie to be like. I want to continue a little TV movie news. Let's talk about that new... Did you watch the trailer for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
I sure did. And this Wednesday, you can hear me talk to Hudson Thames, the actor who is the new animated Spider-Man on the official Marvel podcast. He's an absolute joy.
How exciting.
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah. Let's... I don't know if we can play... Sony always...
Well, this isn't Sony. This is Marvel Animation.
Yeah. But if they can't claim anything under Spider-Man for... I don't know.
Sony can't claim it.
I don't know how it works. Okay.
Sony can't claim it.
Well, Sony gets a
Marvel Disney could claim it.
Yeah. We're showing it small, too, so maybe that will help. I just wanted to show a little bit of like the animation style, a little bit of the costume.
Great. It's got a very... they wanted to go for like a very 60s, like Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby sort of style.
Yeah.
Which I really love. When I think of classic Spider-Man, I always think of him drawn by Steve Ditko, so this is kind of cool. And this was originally going to be the story of the MCU Peter Parker in high school before we met him.
Okay.
And it was going to fill in that part of the continuity.
Yeah.
And now they've decided that it is its own thing.
Yeah.
It's an alternate story. So it's a brand new telling of the Spider-Man story. And instead of Tony Stark, Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Norman Osborn is his mentor and the person who provides him with his tech.
Very cool.
That's the Future Foundation suit.
Yeah.
Which is not technically supposed to come from Norman Osborn, but I just love that it's the Future Foundation suit. Colman Domingo is Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
It'd be a good Norman Osborn.
I'm excited about it. They say that there will also be Doctor Strange. There will be Dr. Octopus. Lots of doctors. Wizard, Scorpion, Chameleon. They've promised you'll meet every freaking good villain. Speed Demon, Rhino, Unicorn.
All your favorite
Tarantula.
ones. Speed Demon. Tarantula.
I think it's like interesting though. I think it is cool because it's all the people that we're not seeing in the live action stuff right now. You know what I mean? It's an opportunity to get through a little more of the like villain catalog.
Rocket
Spider-Man.
Racer is going to be there.
It's not true.
Cardiac is going to be
lying
there.
To you.
Here's what I love about it. By deciding it's not MCU.
Yeah.
They really open it up to be able to be an ongoing, do whatever they want animated series that kids can just watch and grow up with.
Yeah.
And not have to, you know, be as into the MCU if they don't want to.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. As much as I thought it was interesting that they were going to tell the first year of the Tom Holland Spider-Man story in this animated show, I also, and I think this is probably something that popped into their heads too, wouldn't you rather do that if you're going to do it? Wouldn't you rather reveal it in one of the films?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather save that for like something to be referred to on screen as opposed to going back to an animated show?
I think there is an interesting future for Marvel in the canonization of animated content. And I think in like movies in general and these like larger cinematic universes where like things in different mediums being canon with each other is really cool.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think this being like a show for kids and letting it be like we can, you know, play with these different villains without it worrying about how it affects the MCU is really important.
Yeah.
Like kids need their animated Spider-Man. Every generation, to each generation, an animated Spider-Man is born.
You have to have it. Hey, in chat, live studio audience, let us know which Spider-Man animated series you grew up with.
Yeah. So like kids should get their own.
I grew up with all of them. All of them.
Everyone ever.
Every single one of them.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great. Do you know what?
Do
you know what I watched like 87 times?
What?
That Colman Domingo, Kieran Culkin interview. Have you seen it yet?
No.
They did one of the variety actors on actors. It was Colman Domingo and Kieran Culkin. Have you all seen this? It's amazing. They sat down and started talking to each other and could not be more different, but also became best friends immediately.
Okay.
Like in one of those ways where I'm like, oh, this is not just like one of those actory interviews where it's like, oh, and I love you and I love you. Oh my God, yeah, that's so fun and blah, blah, blah. No, you can tell they immediately were like, oh, dude.
Did we just become best friends?
I'm so glad we met and we know each other now.
That's cute.
This is exciting. And the way they're talking to each other is they're talking to each other about like going on set in the morning. And Colman Domingo is like, oh yeah, when I get up in the morning, I need like 2 hours of me time. I start the coffee. He's like, Kieran Culkin just starts laughing. He's like, if I got a 5 a.m. pickup, you know what time I'm downstairs? And Colman Domingo's like, no, don't say like 4:45. He's like, 5:07. They wait for me. I'm so sorry. I pick up my clothes from the floor and I run down to the car. And he's like, what do you do? You don't take a shower before you do a movie? He's like, you got to shower at night, man. Like it's very, it's amazing the way they talk to each other.
Which is funny because that was a kind of comparable conversation to what he had with Jesse Eisenberg.
So
that like, how are you so disorganized? I thought we would be more similar.
Yes.
Which brings us to another piece of news that relates to Jesse Eisenberg. We were just talking about who was the worst Lex Luthor.
Yeah, and it is Jesse Eisenberg.
And that is where we landed, was Jesse Eisenberg as the worst Lex Luthor. And it turns out Jesse Eisenberg is pretty bummed he's the worst Lex Luthor.
Look, here's the thing. Through no fault of his own is, I think, what we landed on. It's not his fault. I don't think it's his fault that he was the worst Lex Luthor.
It was a terrible movie. And he was quoted recently in an interview that it's been pretty bad for him. He said, I was in this Batman movie and the Batman movie was so poorly received and I was so poorly received. I've never said this before. It's kind of embarrassing to admit, but I genuinely think it hurt my career in a real way because I was poorly received in something so public. I've been poorly received in things that don't see the light of day. And for the most part, no one knows. This was so public. I don't read notices or reviews or movie or press. So I was unaware of how poorly it was being received. So this is somebody who like didn't read any of the reviews for the movie, didn't look at any of the reaction, and then was like, why isn't anyone calling?
Here's Here's what I'm going to tell you. And this is a secret story that I'm revealing now publicly that I've never revealed before.
Oh?
A few years back, when I was at Comic-Con with Lucasfilm, doing some Lucasfilm things, I was in the elevator at the Hard Rock, which is where they put a lot of these celebrities and where a lot of the interviews for celebrities are done because it's so close to the convention center.
Yeah.
And I'm with my buddy who is a producer on the Star Wars show, and the floor where EW is, Jesse Eisenberg gets in with, clearly had to be his manager, his PR, somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like they didn't even know we were there because we were just sitting there, and like we had like, you know, he had a clipboard, and we were clearly like workers.
Yeah.
So they didn't like think about what they were saying. And the elevator's going down for like 4 seconds in silence. And then I swear to God, this is real. Jesse Eisenberg turns to whoever this rep was for him, and he goes, "You got to get me out of here. You got to get me out of here. I cannot be here.
Oh no.
I cannot be here."
Yeah.
He's like, "I can't stay here and I can't do this. This is awful." I don't think he knew until that moment. Like seeing clips and doing the panel and doing like I don't think he knew how poorly it turned out and how poorly people were taking it. Ooh. And like when you watch an interview with him, he is a guy that has like a lot of anxiety. He's a weird little guy.
He's a weird little guy.
Whenever I think of him, I think about "Please Abraham, I'm not that man."
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
So like he let Hasidic junior high kids make fun of him in Brooklyn as an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I when he says, "Oh no, this hurt my career."
Yeah.
I'm not shocked. We tend to think that people get out of these things unscathed.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's, I think it's mostly true.
Yeah.
But it can have like a real actual chilling effect. Like it's not something like he's saying it was so public and so many people went to see it. It's not even like a Madam Web.
Yeah.
Like nobody is hurt from Madam Web, right? Like I think everybody got out of Madam Web just fine.
Do you think Dakota Johnson's career won't be affected by Madam Web?
Not at all.
I think it will. Like I understand that she's a Nepo baby and that can go a long way, but I actually genuinely do think that it'll affect her career.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
Because too, like other people were a good sport about it.
Yeah.
And she was personally received poorly on the press tour as well as being unpleasant.
Yeah.
And that in addition to it is going to be tough, is that Madam Web was a bad movie that everyone can agree she personally did a bad job in, not just the circumstance. Dakota Johnson was awful.
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson did a terrible throwaway job.
They did, yes. But I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But, you know, even Affleck, who is still a movie star.
Yeah.
Like had to write and direct a couple movies of his own and put himself in, like normally if he's writing and directing a movie, he's in it, but not like the star of it.
Yeah.
You know, like he's in Argo, but like
Sure.
Argo's an ensemble, but he had to do like the sad basketball coach man movie. And like he had to do them himself and be like, "Please remember me, Ben Affleck.
Yeah. I am good in things.
I am not the Batman."
Yeah.
Now people are saying it's Jesse Eisenberg's fault for being weird as Lex Luthor. Now I make a joke about nobody directing him on set.
Yeah.
But also people were directing him on set. Zack Snyder was there.
Yeah.
People were there.
But
it was weird and bad, but like it didn't come entirely from him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He's a good, like here. And the reason we know that is we've seen Jesse Eisenberg in other things and he's good.
Yes.
And so when he was in that and he was bad, I would imagine that there were circumstances that made that happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't think of him as multi-billion-dollar blockbuster man.
No.
Except for maybe the cool magician movie where they rob places.
Yeah.
That's maybe like the biggest.
Is that what you think of when you think of Jesse Eisenberg?
I'm trying to think of like the biggest Hollywood movie. Maybe Zombieland is the biggest Hollywood movie he ever did. I guess The Social Network.
I was going to say The Social Network.
But that's not like blockbuster Hollywood movie. That was like Aaron Sorkin, serious
sure,
drama.
It wasn't blockbuster at the time, but of movies that are the most notable since, I would say The Social Network.
Yeah, but I get,
and then
I'm trying to compare it to like
what's going to sell out a theater?
A summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
And I think the closest thing was maybe Zombieland.
Yeah, probably.
And so like, I think this was the first time a lot of people saw Jesse Eisenberg being a big bad.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh. Maybe he sucks.
Maybe we were all wrong and maybe he actually sucks. And none of the other data that we have matters.
If y'all haven't seen it, there is a movie that he did called The Double that was directed by Richard Ayoade, Moss from the IT crowd. One of my favorite people in the world. And The Double is based on one of my favorite Russian lit novellas about a guy who's working his job and everybody hates him and he's doing his best, but he's just not liked. And then there's a new employee at the office and everybody loves that guy and it's him. And there are just two of him.
Yeah.
But there's one version that everybody loves and he's
That's
like, we're not doing anything differently.
Yeah.
And it's played by Jesse Eisenberg, both parts. And it's one of my favorite movies. It's so good.
Continuing, let's talk about a little bit of Netflix news.
Okay.
Right? We're still in TV and movies.
We're still in TV and movies. Yes. Let's talk about the Netflix news.
All right. Listen. The way that people watch things is changing. Appointment viewing, dead. Background viewing is in. When's the last time you sat down? What is the last thing you watched that you fully sat and paid attention to and you didn't do anything else during it at home? I'm not talking in theater. I'm talking about you weren't on your phone. You didn't have your laptop out. You didn't have anything of Steam Deck in your lap. None of it. What is the last thing that you watched and how frequently do you do that? I'm curious. What about you? Do you have anything that you're watching that is like, oh, I pay attention to this?
Yes.
I'm trying to like actively separate those things.
I have, if I am not, it's not like an internet video, like if I'm watching a movie or a TV show, I'm usually pretty locked in.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty locked in.
I leave a lot of things on in the background. I always have a background show at any given time that is my dedicated, I am not paying attention to this, but this is on my television, so there's no silence in my apartment. And then I usually try to have like one dedicated viewing show. So like right now, I'm watching Kevin Can Fuck Himself.
It's so good.
That's my dedicated viewing show. That's my I'm paying attention and I'm watching it.
I remember, okay, I love that you're watching this because I remember explaining the concept of the show to you.
No recollection.
And you said, oh, I would hate, like, no, there's no way I could watch that. It would make me too anxious. You were, because I was like,
I don't remember.
Because I was like, oh yeah, it's like a, it's like a sitcom, but like, but like when she's alone, it's very, she's like, I just cannot watch a show about like, I think you were just like, I can't watch a show about an abusive man like that.
Look.
And I was like, I get it, but it's good.
Filled with violent rage watching this show. Yeah, but I just finished season 1 of that. That's my dedicated viewing. Skeleton Crew has also been a dedicated viewing for me lately.
Hey. So Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
You probably didn't notice this.
I haven't watched the very last episode. Most recent.
No, neither have I.
Okay.
This was something in episode 3.
Definitely seen it.
Let's see. I'm going to try to find it because this was wild. There was a screen.
Okay.
That had like a list of destinations, right?
Okay.
And I could have sworn somebody put a screenshot up. Everything's in Arabesh, right? And the Arabesh is made by the production team and the animators and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And on this like departures board, I paused it.
Okay.
Sometimes if there's a lot of Arabesh on screen, I pause it because I'm like, I wonder what they tried to sneak in.
Those who have watched us on the screencast know.
Whether it's like somebody's name or some sort of fun. And what I found was like a lot of spelling and grammatical errors in the Arabesh. Like,
that's funny.
Like Like there was a flight leaving for Tatooine.
All right, that's pretty bad.
Like there was a Tatooine, and I was like,
That's really funny.
We're on our way to Tatooine.
They're like, what loser is gonna pause and translate it?
But here's the thing. Tatooine and Tatooine are not, neither of those words is sillier than the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One's just correct.
Yeah.
No.
There was Tatooine and there was Mandalore, which ain't no flight at that time going to Mandalore.
Sure.
But also, it was missing an E, so it was just Mandalore.
Damn.
Like an
Mandalore.
Australian was saying it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, all of this is to say, Netflix is aware that you're not paying attention to the shit that you're watching.
Except for me. I'm pausing it and I'm reading everything.
Netflix will no longer be for Anthony because Netflix executives have been telling screenwriters the characters should announce what they're doing out loud, literally say, don't show, so that viewers that have the program on in the background can follow along without missing things.
So this is something that we've heard multiple times. And also, this is something that you'll notice if you watch Netflix originals. Netflix originals are full of dialogue that's like, let's go here. I'm feeling this way. I can't believe you just did that to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you just threw a glass of wine on my face. Who throws a glass of wine on someone's face?
I'm gonna go watch something now and pay attention to this. They gave an example here that is from Irish Wish.
Yeah.
Irish Wish, of course, was Lindsay Lohan's holiday movie last year. That was not this year's. This year's was really boring. I'm so sorry. It was Irish Wish slapped. Falling for Christmas, the greatest. So we have here, we spent a day together, Lohan tells her lover James in Irish Wish. I admit, wait, hold on. But literally that'll be the last you see of me because after this job is over, I'm off to Bolivia to photograph an endangered tree lizard. Like everything is like.
So was Madam Web a Netflix original fiction?
Yes. Yeah.
No, this is an issue that you can see. Yeah,
I admit.
Not just in Netflix, but this is why I bring up Madam Web.
Yeah.
You can always tell when a studio, a producer, a production company thinks the audience is stupid.
Yeah.
Or is stupid themselves.
This is
because
so funny.
they're going to be like, you have to explain, like, they won't remember that we just showed him in the jungle.
Exactly.
With the spiders. You have to say, he was in the jungle studying spiders with my mom. So we go, oh, that was the guy we saw in the jungle studying spiders with her mom.
Yeah. He says something to her and she says, we spent a day together. I admit it was a beautiful day filled with dramatic vistas and romantic rain, but that doesn't give you the right to question my life choices. In case you weren't paying attention, during the day that they spent together, filled with dramatic vistas and romantic rain.
Yeah.
So that way, if you missed that, you understand what the connection is there.
Why don't they put,
tough.
you know what they should do?
Yeah.
There should be a version of Netflix that puts on the left-hand side somebody cutting soap.
Yeah.
And then underneath it, like some Subway Surfers.
Yeah.
And then just like a dog.
Yeah. And then put the movie there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. This is a tactic that YouTubers have been using for years. This is very specifically like a digital media tactic that people have been using because they know that YouTube is very commonly a background noise. And same thing with Twitch streamers. Like you'll see a lot of Twitch streamers that are gaming that will like announce when something big happens.
Oh my God, can you believe that just happened, chat?
Exactly. And they'll say what it is because they know they're on in the background. And I don't think that there is anything inherently wrong with that, especially for digital media, because like if I'm watching, I listen to a lot of video essays in the background, right? There is a very common strategy, which is to either raise your voice or just repeat the most important parts of the essay as like chapter marks throughout. Just kind of like check-ins.
It's almost like old school public speaking.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, how do you set up a speech that keeps an audience's attention?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. A movie shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, like I think it's good for digital media. I think it's really good for somebody who's just making something that is designed to be like, hey, put me on and leave me in the background.
Yeah.
But not maybe not television shows.
Because here's the problem. When you do finally sit down
Mm-hmm.
and decide you're not going to watch something in the background,
Yeah.
when you do finally sit down and go, I'm going to watch this movie,
It's going to be too bad
it's
to watch.
stupid.
Yeah.
It's insultingly dumb.
Yeah.
And so when people are actively paying attention to these movies,
Yeah.
they go, oh, this is awful. Why do I pay for this?
Yeah.
Just make good things.
It's very interesting.
Just make good things.
Yeah. I'm curious. Like, obviously, this is coming out from Netflix, but I'm curious how many other studios are saying this exact same thing.
Certainly, we've seen it with Sony Pictures.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. It in an age when in a world when the only thing that works in movie theaters is $100 bazillion movies, because they're the only things that move the needle enough for large corporations. You just see things getting a little dumber and dumber every time.
Yeah.
You were talking. You were telling me you went and you saw the Nosferatu.
Yeah.
The Robert Eggers Nosferatu. And it's like, that's a movie that would have been a big Hollywood release like 20 years ago. And now it's like, it's a mid-tier Hollywood release. And a lot of people are mostly, it's something that people are mostly going to watch at home. And you just don't have movies that people want to sit and pay attention to in the theaters anymore. It's a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. And that's definitely a movie I think that is worth seeing in theaters, even though I don't think the movie was exceptional in its actual story. It's beautiful.
It's
so
a
like,
gorgeous
if you
film.
want to see it, the best part of it is the visuals. So like, if you can see it in theaters.
I watch a lot of movies the way God intended, which is a torrent of a guy holding a camera up to the screen.
Yeah.
And you can see people getting up and going to the bathroom and coming back.
Yeah, of course.
That's how, hey, we're gone again.
What the fuck? Hello?
We just got shut.
What is happening?
Hollywood's silencing us. How long was that for you? How long was that for you? It was 6.5 years for us.
We made it. Right? We're back? Anyways.
I don't remember how to work in society.
Anthony, I yelled at someone on Nosferatu.
Good.
Look.
I don't even need to hear the story. Good.
Look. You can be loud until the movie starts.
Yep.
I don't think you should. Personally, I think the rule is once the lights start to go down and we
Lights are
get into
down.
the serious
Shut
trailers,
up.
I think once we're into the actual trailers, you shut the fuck up. Okay? But I was watching these people. As soon as they came in, they must have been high. And these are not children. These are people significantly older than me, okay? That are sitting there and they're giggling at everything. Now, we're seeing Nosferatu. So the trailers beforehand, you can imagine, are not comedy trailers, right? It's a bunch of like horror trailers, drama trailers, and they are laughing their asses off, okay, at these trailers. And I'm like, that's fine. Just the trailers. That's
Just the
okay.
trailers.
I'm annoyed, but I'll survive, okay?
You got a little case of the giggles. It's fine. Get them out during the trailers.
Yeah. They're talking out loud.
Ooh.
They're talking out loud during all of these trailers still. And you know that it's not going to stop. But I'm like, nothing gets said until the movie starts.
Yeah. I'm still following the social contract.
Yes.
I know you're not going to shut up, but I'm going to pretend that you will because I have to trust in the social contract.
Trevitt the Gnome knows exactly what's up. Said the Coke ad is the last chance you get to be audible because that's when they come over and they're like, hey guys, everybody shut the fuck up now. And then there's a couple more trailers and then the movie. Okay?
Yes.
All right? That should be the cutoff. I think you can talk during Maria Menouno. This is a very specific AMC reference if you go to AMC's, but I think you're allowed to talk during the
pre-show. Lights
pre-show.
are up, that's fine.
As soon as those lights started going down, you shut your... But especially, first fucking card for the movie.
There's a reason why the shut your fucking mouth clip comes before the trailers. When you are still talking after the trailer, like after the shut the fuck up thing pops up.
Yes, you're in the wrong.
You're in the wrong.
You're objectively in the wrong.
But we're letting you go because we're giving you a buffer.
Yes.
We're giving you a buffer. You don't deserve it.
Yep.
The shut the fuck up video already came on.
Mhm.
But we're going to let it go for right now.
Right.
But then the movie starts.
And they are giggling and talking and all of these things. And I'm doing the normal things where like they're in my row, but there's like that, there's a barred off gap between us because I sit in the back row.
Barred off gap is the name of my dwarf in D&D.
That's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do the thing where I just look at them and make them feel uncomfortable. Nothing's working. Okay. And eventually I just go, you guys have to be quiet. This man looks at me and he's like, what the fuck did you just say?
Oh, it's a movie, my guy. This can't have come out of nowhere to you.
And everybody in the theater turns around at this guy at this point because all I said is,
You gotta be quiet.
like exasperated, not like, hey, shut the fuck up. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, you guys.
Now, I will do the shut the fuck up.
I will.
I
But
will.
I'm going to start with a come on. Come on, you have to be quiet.
Yeah. We all paid for this.
Yes. And we're seeing Nosferatu. This is a pretty fucking like serious move.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
not like it's a black and white fucking Robert Eggers
Yeah.
movie. It's an A24 film.
Correct.
You don't go into an A24 film with the fucking giggles.
Yeah. So this guy mumbles to his friend, calls me a bitch and whatever. But let me tell you something. He shut the fuck up for the rest of that movie.
Yes, he did.
He shut the fuck up for the rest of that movie. These people were silent for the rest of that movie, which is so funny because there is a thing in a social contract, right? Where you're interacting, where if you really think you were in the right, you wouldn't have been quiet.
That's
You
the thing.
knew you were wrong because you were quiet after I said it and people looked at you.
You have to decide as the person who said, shut up,
Yep.
whether you are going to engage with the fact that they just mumbled that you are a bitch.
Absolutely not.
Because here's the thing. Within your right to go, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah.
It's within your, because they can't say that. You just,
Correct.
you were in the wrong and now you're being a horrible person. But you know that if you engage,
Yes.
and they know that too. They know they're going to shut up. They know that you won,
Mhm.
but they also, just like a little baby,
Yeah.
just like a little
Had
baby
to
kid,
say their little thing.
had to get the last word in.
Yeah.
Had to get the last word in.
Yeah.
And it's so obnoxious. The same thing happened to me with the last Spider-Verse.
Mm.
Thankfully, not the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
It was the second time I was watching it, but it was my friend's first time. And there was a row of people, they were like early 20s, and they clearly had like, they were either drinking or theater hopping or both. Hey,
Are you 12?
good on you. Do whatever. But they were like laughing and like throughout maybe the first like 5 minutes of the movie until I finally was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because they were being so loud.
Yeah.
And I just start boiling.
Yeah.
I just start boiling inside.
It's gotten so much worse since the pandemic, the way
It
that
really
people behave
has.
themselves in the movie. And I just want this to be a reminder to everybody that you have an obligation to not inconvenience other people in public. And I think that's gotten very lost in the last 5 years.
Dude,
I think that people just don't think about how their behavior affects other people. And I mean this in everything. If you're driving your car and you're in traffic, if you're in a public restaurant, the amount of people that listen to things out loud on their phone now
I've got,
make me want to eject people into space the 100 style.
dude, I can't be in the elevator in my building without somebody with their phone speaker on. And listen, I know that this is old man yells at cloud.
We are yelling at cloud. I get it.
Like, I get it, but I genuinely do believe
Mhm.
the moment we decided as a country
Mhm.
that we didn't care about the health of other people as much as we care about ourselves,
Yeah.
and we saw that other people didn't care about our health,
Yeah.
the moment we all saw that, everything just crumbled.
I think
Everything
there is
crumbled.
I think there is a direct correlation with like the genuine state of people and the way that we don't take care of each other
Mhm.
and people listening to things out loud from their cell phone
Yes.
speaker. I genuinely think there is a direct correlation with like why we are in this horrible place in capitalism. The like me first selfish attitude. And look, I understand that I am neurodivergent. I have a very like inflated sense of justice.
Mhm.
And I am the kind of person who will stop the man in the Target who's listening to a sports game out loud on his phone and go, oh I'm so sorry. Do you not know everyone can hear that?
Yeah. Oh, buddy.
I want to make you as uncomfortable as you've made my experience.
Dude.
And I'll say it as if, oh, you must not know.
Oh, I'm sorry. You
oh,
don't.
hey. Oh my God. This is so embarrassing.
This is so embarrassing.
This is so embarrassing.
I can hear that.
Do you know everyone can hear that?
And here's what's fucking wild. Here's what's fucking wild. We all have earbuds.
Yeah.
Everybody's got earbuds on them.
Earbuds are extremely cheap now. If you can afford a smartphone to play something out loud, you can afford a cheap pair of earbuds.
And if you don't have earbuds on you, you probably don't. This is the fucking Subway Surfers thing again.
Yeah.
You probably don't need to be listening to a video out loud while you're at Target.
Yep.
You probably don't need to be listening to that song on the elevator for the 30 seconds you're on the elevator.
Yes.
You're probably okay.
Yeah.
You're probably fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you'll probably live.
Anywhere in public, this is just your reminder, everybody. Look around and see the other people around you as humans, because I do think we're in a humanitarian crisis of individualism, and I think this is a weird, like, noticeable little side effect of it, but that is also leading to humans literally dying and not caring about each other. I think there is a larger connection.
These people have no sense of embarrassment. I'm
No.
embarrassed by everything I do in public.
People are
even when I do things correctly.
Oh my God. Being in public is so embarrassing.
Just, oh my God, being in public, you would do that? Ugh.
Having to exist and be perceived is so embarrassing. And I know that we have created a situation where people have such curated and individualized experiences where everything around them is curated to what they want in that moment. And I get that as like a responsibility of our entire society and not just the individual.
Sure.
But hey, like it maybe when you go outside, you should take notice of people. And I think you would behave differently if you were just like, every time I go outside, I have to make eye contact with these people.
Yeah.
I have to look around, I have to make eye contact. And then I have to go right now.
Just right now?
Do I need to watch it right now?
Should
I do this FaceTime out loud right now?
The other day, I think I already told this story on the show, but we were at Dagger's favorite coffee place.
Yeah.
Where he gets to be the mayor of the back porch.
Of course.
And that woman came in and sat down.
You did tell.
And we were kind of making eye contact, and I was like, am I going to talk to this? Am I going to talk to this lady? Yeah. And then she pulled out her phone and started watching videos at full volume. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to shush this lady.
Yeah.
I'm going to shush her, actually.
Yeah.
Is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I think Live Serial put it very well in the live studio audience, said, oh, but NPCs aren't people. I'm the only real person. You even typing that. I think that's it. I think that people have become this, like, we've taken the main character idea way too far. And people view other human beings as NPCs. And I genuinely think it is so dangerous. And this is just like a way that we see it and not the problem.
The only reason that I would say, and I don't believe in return to the office. I don't believe in return to work. I don't think that's necessary. But the only reason I think the only positive that I would give it if it happened, and it should never happen, is that because we have removed socialization, like you're saying, in every other aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
Certain people, if they don't go to an office, they're not forced to exist with a group of people.
Yeah.
They might as well be living on an island for 10 years with a volleyball.
Yeah.
They forget everything. And it's like, some kids need to go to school to be socialized more than they need to go to school to learn.
Sure.
And some adults need to go to work to socialize more than they need to go to work to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think that third spaces also are something that people are not experiencing right now.
I don't know. Third space. That Abbott and Costello bit.
I think that third space is not being like a common accessible thing that people have, is also being like, I don't have a place that I'm around other people. But it's not an excuse. If you do it, you suck. And I'm going to make you feel uncomfortable. I have decided that in my heart, I feel seething, boiling anger. What I'm going to have you experience is embarrassment.
Yeah.
Because I think that's going to be the most effective thing. Because for me, if I was playing something out loud on my phone, I would be extremely embarrassed. It would have to be a fucking life-threatening emergency for me to do so, because it would be so embarrassing. And I want you to feel so embarrassed that the next time you go to pull that out, there is a body reaction. You know when you go to do something again that last time you got embarrassed doing?
You want it to be Pavlovian.
Exactly.
You want it to be shock collar reaction.
Last time I got on a skateboard, I fell really hard and it hurt.
Yeah.
I can't get on a skateboard again, you know? I want it to be that. I want it to be a shock
Last
collar.
time I loved too purely.
Yeah.
And now I simply can never love again.
Exactly.
I want you to feel the same way about pulling your headphones out in public that you do about dating.
Yep.
I want you to feel that it is fraught. I want you to feel like it is an impossible obstacle course.
Exactly.
Hey,
that's all.
Let's talk about horrible people. While we're talking about horrible people, let's talk about Justin Baldoni.
All right, let's do it.
So,
listen up.
listen
oh
up.
my God.
So you might remember that earlier this year we were all talking about a little bit of the Blake Lively press for her movie It Ends With Us.
So here's what we knew. The movie It Ends With Us is adapted from a pretty terrible book that a lot of people acknowledge are terrible, but kind of like anyways, about domestic violence.
It's very book talky.
It's very book talk, and even book talk is like, this has a lot of problems. Justin Baldoni decided, you know what? I should make this. I, a man, should make an adaptation of a movie about a woman who is a survivor of domestic violence.
Yeah. Blake Lively signs on to this film because she believes in the author. She believes in the film. They start working on it and they start doing press. And all of a sudden, Blake Lively is not doing well with press. And here's what I'll say. The clips that we saw of Blake Lively being weird are real. Well, if you saw the clips of Blake Lively being a little weird during an interview, yes, those are real clips. There's no denying that those are real clips. But then what we saw was a huge sort of overall, all of a sudden on social media, general sentiment seemed to be, oh, well, I've never liked her. Oh, well, she's always been weird.
Yes.
Oh, well, this is like, she's actually kind of horrible to work with. I heard that on the set, she was trying to like rewrite things and take over the movie, and she wouldn't let Baldoni write and direct.
So let's talk about the order of things happening, because before the press tour started, everybody noticed that the entire cast had unfollowed Justin Baldoni. Right as the press tour was starting. Then all of the press tours began, and Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni did no interviews together. A lot of the time, it would be Blake Lively and some of the other cast, Justin Baldoni on his own. And that wasn't looking particularly good. And I feel like for a moment, for a fleeting fucking second, everyone raised a brief eyebrow at Justin Baldoni, being like, hey, should this man have been writing and directing and starring in this movie that is a woman's story? And then immediately this massive hate campaign against Blake Lively begins.
It turned into
old interviews resurfacing, clips taken, though legitimate, out of context.
There were some really interesting things when you talk about like old interviews resurfacing. One of the first big tweets, and I don't unfortunately have the link to it, was from an interviewer where after the Blake Lively interview came out, where she was being kind of like, everybody's like, oh, that was a little mean. That clip looked like she was being a little mean about the question.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this host came out and was like, oh, a few years ago, I did an interview with her.
Yes.
And it was also weird. And here you go. And it all of a sudden gained so much traction. And what was weird about it is that host has a few times popped up whenever somebody is getting negative press and been like, I also did an interview with this person and it was weird. And everybody's like, that seems strange.
Another thing that
seems strange. Why would she have these things ready to go?
Yes.
And then people started looking into it a little bit more.
Yes.
And then Blake Lively started filing some paperwork.
Now, other clips that were surfacing were out of context clips. And I remember clicking through to this one at the time and being like, no, there's context to that, where they were trying to make it look like Blake Lively was making this movie that is about domestic violence, about herself, and in interviews talking about her hair extensions line.
Yes.
Okay.
Her beauty brand, and hey, everyone, wear your florals to the theater. It's a fun girls' night to see this movie.
Right. Now, there was genuine context to these. Though some of the clips of Blake Lively being mean to interviewers were just Blake Lively being mean to interviewers.
Here's the thing.
The context of these clips did exist, where she was directly asked about things that she was working on, what else she was doing, her hair care line, and she was responding about it. And it did happen to be on the red carpet for this movie.
Yes.
Because she's being interviewed.
But she did, if you watch the entire interviews, she does the thing that good celebrities and good representatives of a project will do, where she says, oh yeah, thank you. We did release that and I'm very proud of it. Yeah. I'm also very proud of this film. Yeah. Like she's very good at bringing it back. The other thing that I'll say about the clips where she's mean is look at her style of humor. Look at who she's married to.
Yes.
Look at his style of humor. Imagine every Blake Lively answer being a Ryan Reynolds answer in an interview.
People would love it.
And tell me if it's funny or not.
And I'm not saying I think it's funny.
I'm not saying Ryan Reynolds has softened his shtick over the last few years because smarminess and sarcasm has gone out of fashion.
Yep.
And so he understands that he needed to soften his humor.
Yes.
But the two of them do it in the exact same way.
Yes.
She has the same deadpan like delivery that he has.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm watching these clips and I'm like, she's goofing.
Yeah.
She's goofing.
It's not for me, but that's fine. Listen, okay. So December 20th, Blake Lively filed a sexual harassment complaint against Justin Baldoni. This has been something that's been coming together for some time. In doing so, it is revealed that him and one of the other producers on the film were horrific on set. Genuinely awful. One of the producers continually walked into a dressing room while Blake Lively was changing or was being body painted in makeup and
she
was
would
undressed.
be like, hey, can you like turn around? And they wouldn't even turn around. They shouldn't have been in the room, but they wouldn't even turn around.
Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni reportedly had a massive conflict on set about a overly gratuitous sex scene that he had written into the movie that she felt was unnecessary and that she didn't want to do.
Yeah.
She said, I don't think this is necessary for this. I don't think this is right for this film. And this is where you start to hear she was asking for rewrites. She was pressuring all of these things.
She's difficult to work with.
Yes. And he continually pressured her to do full nudity.
This is a classic Hollywood thing that filmmakers will try to do to women.
Yeah.
There's been a change. There's been a rewrite.
Yes.
And because of this, a lot of women will have just in a contract, they're like, we need to put in the contract right now what I am comfortable doing and what I'm not comfortable doing just in case of any rewrites, right? Yep. But sometimes that doesn't go into the contract. Sometimes it's like, hey, there's a respectfulness here. I've read the script.
Yes.
We're not going to, nothing in the script makes me feel uncomfortable. But if any rewrites do make me feel uncomfortable, I'm going to talk to you about them because it will be different than the thing I signed up for.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. It's reasonable to do. And honestly, the gratuitous sex scene, the full frontal nudity, like that's not even something that movies really do anymore.
Not to mention, in addition to what was written into it that made her uncomfortable, he also decided to quote unquote improvise in some of these intimate scenes, improvising kissing her. He just kisses her in a scene that did not have a kiss. That is assault. That in any setting is
if you've ever been on a set,
assault.
If you've ever done a play, if you've ever done any acting, you might feel in the moment that that's the right move for the character. It might not be motivated by anything, but one of the first things that you will be taught by any responsible acting teacher, or you'll be taught on fucking set the first time you try it, is you don't do that.
Ever.
If you feel it, you might go, hey, during this part of the scene, do you think these two characters would do this?
And that's a conversation with the director and the other actor. And that is a conversation that's not one-on-one between you and the other actor, which could pressure the other actor into it.
Hey, and you don't even do it in the middle of a take if you can avoid it.
Ever.
Because then you're putting the other actor on the spot in front of 50 people and you're saying, hey, should we do it this way? And you are doing that thing where you're pressuring a woman in public to do something that she may not want to do.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and ask for a timeout there in chat because what we don't do, we're just going to give you a little timeout there to think about your behavior. Because you're being weird.
You're being very weird.
I don't like it. This is an unnecessary, but it's a man's humor. Okay, you get a shush for a little bit. Anyway, so they didn't have an intimacy coach initially. An intimacy coordinator is a complete standard on any large Hollywood production
especially,
that has sexual content at all.
Yes, even if it's healthy, two people in love sexual content, you need an intimacy coordinator. But particularly when there is any sort of conflict or abuse, anything like that, you need an intimacy coordinator there to be like, let's go through this. Is everyone okay? These sorts of things.
Everything is choreographed, so you know exactly what is going to be happening with your body at all times.
So what we're now finding out is these things of like, there were interviews where Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were being interviewed at the same time sometimes because they both had big movies coming out.
Yeah.
And people were like, it's weird that she's glomming onto the Deadpool press. It's weird that he's coming in to save the press for her movie. Not really. It's just they're two famous people and they were appearing in press together sometimes.
Yeah.
Or they were accompanying each other to press events for things, whether it's a red carpet,
because also she was involved with Deadpool.
Yeah, she was in Deadpool. And so questions came up and she said, yeah, actually, Ryan helped rewrite a scene that wasn't working. And people were like, so Ryan Reynolds just walks onto set and starts rewriting this movie. No. What happened was probably there were scenes that were added later or were rewritten. And she was like, we've got to fix these because I won't do this. It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And he probably was there and they did it together.
Pretty normal for like working with your partner.
The things that we are saying that are, oh, I'm assuming this, I'm assuming that. Well, this is what Blake Lively's suit says and what she found. The things that we are assuming or we are saying could be assumed here are, according to Blake Lively, true. And
they're according to legal documents filed by Blake Lively.
Right. And so and it's not just her saying that they're true. She's also saying all of that stuff, all of that negative press, all of these things that were put out there about her were orchestrated by Justin Baldoni, his production company, and a crisis management team because he was so horrible on set that he knew that he was going to get boxed out of this and boxed out of the industry.
Yeah.
And he is very famously a public ally. He gives talks about how we should be treating women better in film. He is one of those, I'm an ally guy, I'm a nice guy. And he knew that this was going to destroy him. He hired a firm, which is the same firm, like we were saying earlier, that handled Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Now remember, in a European court, Johnny Depp was found guilty.
Yes. And if you remember, because you weren't just looking at the weird Twitter headlines that were absolutely crucifying a woman, if you remember, you could have actually looked at the evidence that was presented in that court hearing, which what was presented on Johnny Depp was him texting with Marilyn Manson about an underage girl, was audio recordings of him smashing glass and punching things and screaming. But a lot of people didn't look at that. They looked at the headline that was about Amber Heard.
Yes.
Because this PR team is incredibly effective. Now, this is where we move from, this is what Blake Lively is saying, to here's the fucking texts, you dumbass. Because the PR team loved to send a text that says like, look at this shitty thing we're gonna do.
So here's what's up. With a firm like this, you are not going to find a lot of emails. You are not going to find a paper trail, but they do have to communicate with one another. And what Blake Lively put into her suit are strings of text messages from these people that are like, we need to put a social combat plan into motion to take her down. We need to make sure that this is happening. We need to orchestrate this sort of move. We need to orchestrate this sort of move. I mean, there were things where it's like, hey, we need, like, here's a great tweet. Here's an influencer that doesn't like her that we can take advantage of. We need to amplify this influencer that doesn't like her. Or is asking this question. We need to put this question to people's heads. And they were like, okay, cool, but you're not going to do bots, right? And they're like, no. Of course we're not going to do bots. We're better than that. These are people that have entire accounts, real accounts, people that are ready to go where it's like, hey, we need this to get traction online. Retweet it, reply to it, put it out there. We need to find journalists that are friendly to us that'll be like, hey, here's what's trending about this movie. Let's put in these tweets about what's trending. These are people who manipulate public opinion. That's what they do.
In these messages, they blatantly admit to creating this entire campaign. They admit to putting out the first video compilation of searching it. There's a text where Justin Baldoni texts the PR group chat saying, this is what we would need to do. And it was a social media thread that accused another celebrity of bullying behavior and had 19 million views. So exactly the thing that they ended up doing. He said, this is what we would need to do. They said, that they could do full social takedowns through threads of theories, working to change the narrative. All of this, most importantly, will be untraceable. I think we need to put the social combat plan into motion. There are text messages that say things like, wow, this is working better than I thought. These people like Justin more than I do, between the PR people to each other.
They literally say in the beginning of this thing, we can bury anyone.
In text.
Don't worry, we can bury anyone.
So there's a check-in there after a massive campaign saying, so are we all in the clear now? Did we survive? The other PR person replies, we survived. All the press is so overwhelming. We've confused people so much. Mixed messaging. It's actually really funny if you think about it. There is so many back and forth messages. They say we're crushing it on Reddit. They're sending each other links to things saying, I didn't even know about this one. This is amazing. Because all they had to do was start the conversation and they had to pose it as trending. And then there are millions of social media accounts that make their content based on jumping onto pop culture trending things
if you
that will want to have some part in it.
If you can get it the momentum, it will be self-sustaining, and they know that. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So people are wondering though, okay, are these texts true? Can we believe them? How did she get these if they're supposed to be secret? And the answer is like, there are a lot of businesses and there are a lot of actors, personalities that all got caught up in this, right? There are multiple production companies behind the movie. There's a studio behind the movie. Blake Lively and the people she knows are also pretty big celebrities, right?
Yes.
So if they kind of lean on a PR firm and they're like, do you have any information about what might be going on here? PR firms want as many clients as possible. So PR firms want to look as good to people as possible. And they may be like, hey, do you have anything? Do you know how this happened? It's like, well, I'll send you like, here's a conversation that I had with this guy. It's wild.
So from there, this is a lawsuit filing about sexual misconduct on set as well, which means inherently, you're going to have a bunch of expensive lawyers getting involved. And as somebody who's had to go through a legal system of a man trying to get ahead of something he did and discredit you, you can have your lawyer or a detective subpoena the cell phone, essentially, of these PR people. And everybody should know, if you have any kind of smart device or exist on the internet, nothing is gone forever, even if you delete it. So other texts like, the narrative online is so freaking good. The fans are still sticking up for Justin, and there's literally been no pickup of those 2 articles, which is actually shocking to me. But I see this as a total success. So does Justin. You did amazing work. Person replied, narrative is crazy. So did you. The majority of socials are so pro Justin, and I don't even agree with half of them. They sent
nuts.
An article that says, is Blake Lively set to be canceled? And then with the quote, wow, you really outdid yourself with this piece. That's why you hired me, right? I'm the best.
So, yeah, this is gross. This is absolutely gross. This is happening a lot. I think the main takeaway of this is, regardless of how big or small something like this is. Everything you see that surrounds a celebrity, that surrounds a movie, that surrounds anything. Maybe doesn't have this much ferocious oversight. But remember that all PR is PR. All marketing is marketing. Everything you see on social media is surfaced and put there, either algorithmically or by people who are trying to put it in your face.
Whenever you see something that is trending on social media, whenever you see something that is attempting to influence your opinion, the best thing that you can ask is, who benefits from me believing this? And then decide if you're comfortable with it. Because there will be things that you will choose to believe that, you can't always have the exact evidence of everything, but you have to consider who benefits, right? Is there somebody who is profiting off of me believing this that I'm uncomfortable with the idea of them profiting off of me believing this? And I do hope that it does make people reconsider some of the opinions that they have held. I do hope that it makes you reevaluate some of the positions you've taken or some of the information you think that you have. And just remember, you also don't have to have a stance on everything.
That's right.
You can land in I don't know what happened.
As a matter of fact, you should. A lot of the time. A lot of times, things that pop up online, you can be like, I don't know and I don't care, and I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Yep. But, I know there were a lot of people, and people that really surprised me that are not typically, I don't know, the exact person I would think would do this, that were going so hard after Amber Heard. And I'm not saying Amber Heard is a good person.
No.
I don't know Amber Heard. I know that there are things that Amber Heard has done that are not okay. But what I also know is that the campaign against her was definitively manufactured by Johnny Depp, and that it wasn't just, well, Amber Heard is bad too, because that would have been fine.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with Amber Heard is bad too. But what it was Johnny is a perfect, precious, sweet boy that would never do anything wrong, and we have to protect him against this mean, monstrous, evil lady.
Yeah. Lord knows, like every 5 to 7 years, there isn't something that pops up about Johnny Depp getting drunk and hitting somebody.
Yes.
God knows that's not a truth.
Look up the texts between Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson.
Yeah. This is really fascinating. The story keeps developing. One of the things that's like really bonkers to me is this PR firm, Jonesworks, basically outed the texts as valid and true.
Yeah.
Because people within Jonesworks, as soon as this became public, started suing each other. Because obviously the head, Stephanie Jones, the head of this publicity firm, the moment any bad publicity came out about her publicity firm, and publicity firms are supposed to be invisible.
Yep.
You should never know their name. You should never know who they are.
Yeah.
The moment there was negative press about her firm, she immediately sued the people who worked on Justin Baldoni's PR and said they were trying to destroy her firm.
Which means they did, in fact, do it. People come out and been like, I wasn't part of this. This all happened behind my back. As opposed to, my company didn't do this. We're not part of this, because they know they're not going to get out from under it.
This was a conspiracy by one of my employees who was trying to steal my clients and steal my business out from under me, and I would never do this. I would never.
Oh, very interesting. Everybody, this is your reminder to be critical of what you read and what you see. It's the last show of the year, and we really, really appreciate you spending this year with us.
Yeah.
What do you got, Anthony?
Oh, I was just saying, I got. Why won't it change?
Oh God, I rolled the intro.
Yeah, roll the intro.
I don't know.
Never mind.
You were just going to show them a meme? God, stop showing them the spreadsheet.
I can't.
They're going to know all the things that we didn't get to.
I can't.
We didn't get to more than half of it.
I had a funny meme. Here's what I'm going to say. Like Saige is saying, it's the last show of the year. I want to say this. Go out and make sure you have fun and enjoy this week. Enjoy this week. Next week, a lot of weird shit, particularly if you live in America, starts happening.
Yeah.
Take this last quiet week.
Yeah.
And make sure that you have a little fun and you relax and you really do enjoy your holiday. That's all.
Yeah, I am doing my best to not give into existentialism. I think there was an important TikTok that I got in the feed recently where people were talking about how like, oh yeah, well, are you still going to be mad when Donald Trump doesn't ban TikTok? And it was somebody responding going, here is the difference between you and I. I hope he does the best job possible because it's insane not to.
I truly want him to do really, really well.
What the fuck? Why would you root for your own downfall?
Yeah.
So all of that is stuff that we didn't have time to get to, but maybe we'll touch on Friday. But do your best also to not give in to dread and despair.
No, that's what I'm saying. Take this week, have fun, enjoy it. Neither do not sit at home and worry. Do not sit at home and do nothing. Enjoy the week.
Yeah. We are, of course, going to be back later this week, but it will be a new year. When we see you next, we will be back, of course, on Friday. I just want to thank you all so much for such a wonderful year. Thank you for spending it with us. Our first full year in the studio has been so absolutely amazing. We're going to be coming up on year 2. We're going to be coming up on the 2 years, but that'll be our second of it because we moved in like a late February.
Oh,
Yeah. 2 years in February. Kind of crazy.
2 years.
Kind of absolutely wild. It's really, really cool. And I really appreciate it. And we have so much stuff planned for next year. We didn't get as much content out as we would have liked to in 2024. And the amount of stuff that I have planned for 2025
Way more stunts.
is insane.
Way more explosions. We're doing way more. There's going to be, did you see Gladiator 2? We're going to flood this whole place.
Yeah.
We're doing naval
But that's
battles.
just because of the leak.
It's
but
going to be
we'll get that
amazing.
In all seriousness, we love you. Thank you very much. The end of this year was a little bit tough. We did, in fact, get robbed. But we are recovering, and 2025 is going to be best year yet. So we love you all so much. Thank you for spending your mornings with us. We're going to go through and we're going to thank everyone that supported us during the show, of course, but also just, hey, thank you for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, stick around for all of the fun things that we have coming up in the new year. You can follow Anthony where?
You can find me everywhere at Carboni, except for here on Twitch where I'm at Anthony Carboni. What about you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at not Saige. And hey, if TikTok doesn't get banned, I kind of post over there. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for supporting us directly on Twitch, for being here live, for being a part of the conversation. Join the Discord if you haven't to continue being a part of the conversation after the show ends. We love you, BBs. And Happy New Year, I guess?
See you next year, I suppose.
See you next year.
Everything is a question now?